Wax's podcast, talking mad shit about uninteresting facts. Wax's podcast, listen to it every Wednesday.
How terrible was that? Disclaimer, I forgot to put the jingle on, but I already did the podcast. I forgot to put that on. I recorded that the other night when I was really fucked up. And I made it bad on purpose, and I think I succeeded. So here goes the podcast that I already recorded like 10 minutes ago. What up, y'all? This is Wax, here with another episode of Wax's podcast. This is episode 2. And I know what some of you guys are thinking right now. You're thinking, damn, I'm surprised that you came out with another episode, because usually when you say you're going to do something on a weekly basis, it fizzles out really quickly. And you're saying that based on the Wax Weekly series, which, by the way, I'm bringing back this week. My boy Jay has been taping me doing some shit, and we're going to bring back the Wax Weekly series. We're still going to call it Wax Weekly, even though it might not be weekly. It might be every 2 weeks. I know I said that a while ago, but, you know, this podcast is something that I can put together totally by myself. Like, throughout the course of the week, I'll write down a couple things that might happen to me that may be interesting for the podcast, and I can make it happen. I just go to the studio, or I could do it at my house, or I could probably even do it on my phone if I wanted to. I could just record it. Whereas the Wax Weekly, you know, it takes other people to make it happen. You know, I got my crew that does all my videos, all the videos I've done on YouTube for the past couple years, besides like the real shitty looking ones that I've done myself. My boy AK, my boy Casey, my boy Jay. And, you know, those guys, because they're good at what they do, they become successful. You know, they have other things they got to do. They can't necessarily follow me around for a week. But luckily, my boy Jay is going to try to help me out, and I think Casey and AK too. They're going to try to help me out. We're going to get Wax Weekly back going. And as far as the podcast, not only am I back, but I'm fucking slightly more organized. I'm trying to get more organized, like I said last week. I'm trying to have segments. I'm trying to format this like it's some real shit, like it's an actual thing. I'm going to have some segments. I haven't thought of them all yet. That's why I said I'm only slightly more organized, but I got a couple ideas. One idea that my brother came up with that I'm going to use is Wax's True Hollywood Story. So every week I'm going to bring you a new and true Hollywood story, because I do have a couple of them that are pretty funny and interesting since I've been living in Los Angeles for a few years now. I want to do a segment where, like, an interactive segment where I read you guys' emails. You can email me questions, hypothetical situations, and how I would fucking react in certain situations. Advice. Maybe you want some advice. I don't know why you would ask for my advice. Actually, that's not true. I'd probably give you really good advice, but if the situation was my own situation in regular life, I'd probably not take my own advice, if that makes sense. It's always easier to give advice than to live your life like the advice you would give, if that makes sense. What else am I going to do? Kind of written down here. I got one more. I got a segment where it's called, quote, call people and fuck with them, unquote. So that's going to be another segment. Just at some point in the podcast, I'm going to call somebody I know and fuck with them. Maybe like a prank call, or maybe it's like an interview. I'm not sure. We'll just have to see how it goes. We're just going to make the call and see where the call goes from there. But so this week's been an interesting week for me. I put out a video where I announced that, you know, I'm no longer on Def Jam Records. Like I said in the video, this is a positive thing. It could easily be looked at as a negative thing because, you know, the dream is always to get signed. The dream is to get the deal. And I got the deal, and it was cool. But, you know, it just didn't work out for me, man. Like, just certain ways that the industry works just aren't really compatible with the way I work. And I'm not trying to be on some, like, I know everything, I keep it real, I only make fucking underground ass shit. Because I actually don't. Like, the shit I tend to make is actually, you know, these relatively, like, sing-songy and shit like that. So, but it just doesn't necessarily work. And the way that the industry works isn't always compatible to the way I work. And I could explain some of that shit coming up here. But I do appreciate all the positive feedback from all you guys on that news. Everybody's showing mad love, mad support, you know. And like I said, you know, I don't have any fucking bad blood with the record label. You know, I blame myself more than I blame them. You know, it's just, you know, this shit just doesn't work sometimes. Like, for example, you know, when I was signed up to them for a little while and it was time to put out my first single, you know, because of, you know, a lot of what I wanted to do, the first single was the song Two Wheels. Some of you may know that song, some of you may not. But it's a song, it's like, oh yeah, oh my, I don't give a fuck about a DUI. And looking back on it, I mean, maybe I shouldn't have been pushing that song. I mean, the fucking song to the average listener sounds like, you know, I don't give a fuck about a DUI. It's always the line that stands out. And to most people, I don't think the song is about it's okay to drink and drive, but to the average listener, it could easily be looked at as that. And, you know, the average listener isn't fucking dissecting the shit like that. They just hear, I don't give a fuck about a DUI. And I actually, no, I didn't mean to laugh at that, but I put it out like really at the very same time as that dude Ryan Dunn from Jackass died from drinking and driving. And it was on like the alternative rock stations, and it was really bad timing. A lot of stations wouldn't play it because of that. And I was the one who pushed that shit, so I ain't mad at that. That shit failed. And that's my fault it failed. I will accept full blame and responsibility. Sorry if you hear like some random music in the background. I'm at this rehearsal space where I work at here. There's a couple bands down the hallway playing. I was going to wait for them to stop, but they just wouldn't stop, so I just decided to do the podcast. So what else am I got going on? Let's continue talking about Def Jam and some of my experiences in the major label record industry. I'll just tell you the story about when I actually got the deal. So through a series of meetings, you know, I moved to LA and I was doing my shit on YouTube. And, you know, nowadays the way it works is like YouTube is kind of where the music industry goes to search for talent. So I got some people in the music industry, including my current manager, who, you know, found me through there. And that was when they kind of first started finding people through there. But I got management, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, through a series of meetings, I had a meeting with an A&R guy at Def Jam who really liked my shit. And he was close to the president of Def Jam, who at that time was L.A. Reid. L.A. Reid is a real big music industry mogul. You might know him. He's on... what's that show? Not The Voice, X Factor. It's like an American Idol type show. So he's a judge on there now, and so I got a meeting with him. That dude is like discovered like mad people. He's discovered like not Prince, Pink. He brought Usher into the game. He had a lot to do with Outkast getting big. Justin Bieber, he was a big part of that. There's fucking way. I think Mariah Carey was dealing with him. I can't remember all the names. I'm not going to fucking say anymore because probably half of those are wrong, but there's way more. And so me and my manager, we go to the fucking Beverly Hills Hilton. If you're not familiar with the Beverly Hills Hilton, which most of you are which most of you are not, it's a hotel in Beverly Hills. It's kind of swanky. It's actually the same hotel where Whitney Houston died in the bathtub or whatever on the Grammy nights. I don't mean to say or whatever when talking about somebody's death. I apologize for that. I'm not fucking insensitive. I actually loved Whitney Houston, and I feel terrible even talking about her death, but I was just making a reference to what hotel it was. I play at the Viper Room, and the Viper Room is where River Phoenix died, and that's what it's famous for. So I apologize if death sometimes makes things famous. It's not my fucking fault. I didn't kill them. I didn't kill the people at these locations. I didn't do that. But, so where was I at? So I'm at the Beverly Hills Hilton. That's where the fucking meeting is. And it's me and my manager, and we get there mad early because we didn't want to be late for this meeting. It was a really important meeting. So we're like a half an hour early. And we get to the bar, and we actually take a couple shots of tequila just to get kind of psyched for the meeting. I got my acoustic guitar with me. We're at this... actually was kind of a shitty looking bar considering how kind of swanky the place is, but me and Brian were having Brian's my manager's name, and we were having our pre-meeting discussion, and we kind of have this strategy like where if you're nervous for a meeting because the person's so important, the way to go into the meeting, I still think this is a good way to look at it, is like fuck them. Like fuck them, they ain't shit. It's like you gotta make it so that person is a real person, like You can't go into a meeting intimidated. They're just a regular person like anybody else. I don't mean like fuck them like they suck, but like Like, fuck them. They ain't all that, you know? No matter who it is. And it's not because you actually think that about the person. It's just because, like, the attitude you want to take into the meeting. You want to be strong. You want to be ready, confident, and you want to be loose. You know, you want to just be, which the tequila shots helped with that, I guess, I suppose, too. I'm glad I didn't take too many. But, so it comes time when we got to go to meet him, and we go out to, like, one of these cabanas. Like, you walk down this, like, jungly, lush pathway, and you enter the cabana from the outside. It's got like a porch. It's like basically like a nice suite that has a lot of outdoor shit in this hotel. And we sit down. There's a couple. We're with the A&R guy that I referred to. I don't even know if I'm supposed to say this, but I don't think it's a big deal. But we're sitting there, the three of us, me, my manager, and the A&R guy. And then wait a couple minutes, and then L.A. Reid and like three of his cronies, they come into the room. And I know people say this about people all the time, but like this dude, L.A. Reid, like he really does like have an aura around him. Like when he comes into the room, like if I didn't know who any of those people were, which I wouldn't have if it was just a normal situation. I only knew what the dude looked like because I knew we were doing this meeting, and I looked him up. I checked out what he'd done and all that shit. But I feel like even if I was in the fucking food court of a mall eating fucking free samples of bourbon chicken, I remember that when you were a kid and they'd be giving out free samples of whatever, like Chick-fil-A or bourbon chicken from the little Chinese spot. And you just you didn't have any money, so you just you eat a free sample, then you go to some store, then you come back, whatever, you eat a free sample, it doesn't matter. But so we're in there, and then the dude walks in the room, and like I'm saying, even if I was in a Jiffy Lube getting my car fixed, I think that when this dude walked in there, like, hey, I need my car fixed too. Like I think I would know, like, whoa, that dude's somebody, you know, like he had like one of those, like, you know how every time the Virgin Mary is painted, there's like a sun behind her head. Maybe it's because this dude's bald and his head has a shine to it, but that could just be it. That kind of goes with it, I guess, you know. But he came into the room. He was a super fucking nice dude, super cool, and the crazy thing about it. But the crazy thing about it was he shook my hand, and he said a line from one of my YouTube videos, which was the most random fucking line that he could have possibly said. Like I didn't even know what he was talking about. I was like, what is that? He's like, that's your shit. I was like, no, you sure, man? Like I asked him that. I was like, you sure? And it turned out I did a video on YouTube for it was a cipher video. I can't even remember the name of the cipher was, but I was in my car and it was fucking real dark, and I had like one light on my face from the little camera or something. And I was talking about like the Minion virgins, like it was like all these like terrorism references. It was weird, but like he made a reference to that line, and it was real cool. We sat down, and they had a badass stereo system in there, and had a CD with a couple songs on it. So we played him two songs. We played him the song Scrub Life and the song Out of My Mind. And the song, I guess I haven't put out either of those songs. The song Out of My Mind kind of has like a big like poppy kind of hook to it. I don't know if I'll ever put out that song. We'll see. But I played those two songs on the CD. And then right after, I had my guitar with me. So I played the song No More Love Songs, which some of you might know. I played that right there in the little bungalow. And after that happened, man, the dude was just like, he's like, you got it. Man, you got it. That's how he said it. And I was like, cool, I'm glad you think that I got it. But, and, you know, long story short, within the next couple of days, I had the deal, and shit was moving real nice. You know, it was real crazy. You know, like had some money. You know, I was able to tell my mom, like, yeah, I told you I could do something with this shit, you know. Because, like, it really took a while for my parents, especially with my mom, to understand that, like, I actually had more potential to make money doing music than I did, like, just, you know, doing some kind of government job or something like that. I tried to explain it to her, and after a while, she understood, and she understands now. Not to say that she's not supportive. She's always been super supportive, but I think at that time it really hit her, like, oh, that makes sense. But, so yeah, that happened. But you know, everything was going great at first. I was working with these cool producers and doing my thing. I did my first the Scrub Life mixtape. I kind of did what I wanted with that. I thought like I said earlier, we put out Two Wheels as a single. What was funny about that when we put that out, they pushed it towards alternative rock stations, and alternative rock radio is in like a fucked up place right now, and like I was a first-hand witness of that. There was 4 stations that really took a hold of that song. Four stations: the rock station in Phoenix, the rock station in Chicago, the rock station in Reno, Nevada, and the rock station in Boise, Idaho. And within 3 weeks or so of them putting that song in a pretty heavy rotation, 3 out of the 4 of those stations ceased to exist. They just shut down, and people in Chicago can attest to it. I think this could be totally fucking wrong. This could be 100% wrong, but I want to say Q101 or just fucking, I don't remember what it was, but whatever the alternative rock station, it was in Chicago for like years and years and years. As soon as they started playing my shit, they turned into a talk news station. Same thing with the Reno one and the Boise one, which I guess that might just be a curse. As soon as you play something by Wax, everybody's gonna get fired. But hold on one second. But yeah, like I said, man, I was doing my thing. And that song didn't work. And the music industry is very single driven. It's very radio driven. That's the main thing, especially in today's climate, where look at a dude like Mac Miller, like who doesn't really need radio play. I mean, there's a million examples of people like that, but Mac Miller's a really successful example of people who don't need radio play to get just as big, or really technically in some cases way bigger than people that do get radio play. So in this day and age, that's the main thing a major label does, is radio stuff. So after a while I was like, all right, fuck it, I'll try to do something for the radio. This was after I made the second mixtape, actually. And long story short, it just became really frustrating, man. It just became like a thing where like writing music was like super unorganic, and they bring in, once you start to get a lot of people involved, a lot of chefs in the kitchen, as they say, everything you do is questioned, and you start to question yourself, and that makes it difficult, because then it's even harder to write, because you don't really know if what you're writing is quote unquote good, and there's the other songwriters, producers, blah blah blah. And the crazy thing about it is like I always say, man, and I'm a people person, I can judge people pretty quick, and like almost everybody that these people are musicians just like me, like I've tried writing songs for other people and helping people write songs and stuff like that, and everybody's trying to be helpful. But it's just really frustrating sometimes when like you're in a studio and a songwriter or a producer or somebody walks in the room, and then like you play them one of your songs, and they're like, oh, I get it. And it's like, okay. Pretty much, most people pegged me as like the frat rap party guy that does like generic songs about getting drunk, which I guess I can't blame them for being like that. If they listen to some of my songs, I do write a lot of songs about getting drunk and shit like that and partying and shit like that, but that's just because that's how I live. I do a lot of that stuff, but I feel like a lot of the shit, you can do shit in a very non-generic way. Like you can write a song about partying that's not like, let's get fucked up. Although that could probably be a huge hit, so what the fuck do I know? Let's get fucked up. Let's get fucked up. We drinking, we smoking, we drinking, we smoking, we drinking, smoking, drinking, smoking. Let's get fucked up. I mean, that right there. Rappers, that's a freebie. Yeah, but it's just weird when people act like they know you. I remember one time that it stood out in my mind. A funny time was I was singing a hook in a vocal booth, and I sang a couple takes of it, stacking it means, like, for people that don't do, it means you sing it once, and then you double it, and then you triple it, or whatever, and now you got three of your own voices, or whatever. So I stacked a few, and I was like, all right, cool, I got a little harmony for this one. And then this dude was like, no, Wax doesn't sing harmonies. And it was a dude that I just met that day. And he was a nice fucking guy, man. Like I always fucking say, he was a nice guy. He was just trying to help. He was trying to mold me into he was trying to mold me into a star. Get my name in the lights, or whatever they say. But I just thought that was funny, man. Wax doesn't sing harmonies. I do sing harmonies. And I do whatever. I don't fucking think about it like that. But then when you get to that place, you think about it really hard. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, you get into these studio situations sometimes where cats that know me know that I generally fucking close a door and fucking work like a lone caveman. I'm usually like a fucking, you know, ask my old roommates Tony and Andrea, ask my boy AK, he always talks about this. Usually when I do music, I just fucking go into a room and shut the door and just fucking think and write for like hours upon hours. And then occasionally, you know, with people I know and people I'm comfortable with, I love collaborating and shit like that, you know. But when there's just when there's 10 people in the room, half of them aren't even musicians. Some of them are just people that work there or friends of people or friends of blah, blah, blah. So you got fucking 15 people in the studio and they're playing a beat real loud. And then you got a fucking piece of paper. And you're supposed to write a song, and people talking, people doing all this shit. And for me, I just fucking can't fucking, I shut down. I shut down in that environment. Like I can't do it. And if that means I suck, then I fucking suck. Like I said, I take fucking 100% responsibility for that shit. I've seen everybody works different. I've seen other people just that are just like super confident, don't give a fuck about anybody else who's there, whatever. But like for me, like I feel eyes on me. You know what I mean? That's why the best situation I had while I was there was this producer named Greg Wells, who's the fucking shit. You know, when I think the reason we work together is he's a lot like me. Like he plays a lot of instruments, and most of the music he makes, you know, he's a producer, but it's mostly like live drums, bass, guitar. He's got like a million pianos. He's fucking ridiculous at playing every instrument. But you know, he's like, I don't know how old he is. He's probably like 40, but he doesn't let nobody in the studio. He doesn't let my manager in the session. He don't let the A&R guy in the session. He don't let nobody in the session except him. The only people that are allowed in the session are people that are working on the song, and that's because he's just like me. He feels those eyes. He feels the judgment that's going on in other people's brains while they're sitting there, and it's really easy to feel. I feel the same way because a lot of times once you got 5 instruments down and somebody tells you, I don't know, I don't like the direction you're going. It's like you can't hear the direction that we're going. You know, like this is a fucking building block and we're about to put a bunch of fucking condiments on it. Not that you would put condiments on a building block unless you were fucking had really strong teeth. You made fucking sandwiches where the bread was 2 building blocks with God, if you made sandwiches where the bread was 2 building blocks, what would you even put in between there? I guess you'd just put fucking gravel with some mustard. I don't know where I'm going with that. But, yeah, I mean, that's just some of the shit that I went through in the music industry, man. And if you want to hear more stuff or if you have any other specific questions, there's certain things I'm not supposed to talk about. Like, I signed, like, agreements and stuff like that, which I probably fucking... I'm not violating any agreements, but... I did sign certain agreements, but the email, you know what? I'm not going to make a new fucking email for this podcast. I have an email called beatsforwax@gmail.com. It's where people and any of you producers out that are listening, feel free to send me beats, man. I love listening to beats. I'm a little behind on that email. I got a couple dope ones actually. I got to get back with some people. And I'm not going to fucking steal your shit. I'm not going to fucking be an asshole and put your shit on my mixtape and not fucking credit you and all that shit. Like, if I like your shit, I'm going to fucking hit you back and make a deal with you. I don't do like the like, nah, it's just for your promotion, son. I'm the man. It's just so you can get promo. Like, nah, I don't work like that. But the point of me saying that was I'm not opening a new... I got enough fucking messages. I got YouTube, Facebook, Twitter... text messages, voicemails. I can't even keep up with all that shit. Ask anybody that's ever hit me up in a Facebook message how long it's taken me to get back at them. I suck at that shit. So I'm not opening another email for this podcast. So if you got beats Or if you got questions, you want advice, beatsforwax@gmail.com. beatsforwax@gmail.com. And I'm going to stop for a second. I got to take a piss. Hold on. Yeah. So I'm back. Sorry about that. But that's actually a perfect segue into something that I wanted to discuss at some point. The feeling that you get when you have to piss really bad. A lot of you have experienced this feeling, especially people that take a lot of road trips. That feeling when you just like, it's painful. It's so painful. Like you have to pee really fucking bad. But it's not the way it feels when you have to piss really bad that is interesting to me. We all know that feeling, but we all know this next feeling too, which is the feeling when you actually do piss after having to piss that bad. And my argument is that feeling, if you have to go bad enough, can actually trump the feeling of an orgasm. Like, you know how that fucking ultimate feeling of relief when you're just like letting it out? First of all, it lasts longer than an orgasm, which is really the only point, I guess. And it's just a really good feeling that lasts long, just the ultimate like release. Like, you know, and it takes, just like anything else in life, it takes pain to get pleasure. You know what I mean? You got to go through the hardships and then the release and finally getting what you wanted feels that much better. So I don't know if that's really has too much of a point, but what I do now, I've actually given up masturbating, and I just wait all day, and right where I'm at that point where I'm just about to explode and I just can't take it anymore. You know, I go in my bathroom and I set up some candles. I get a little R&B music going on my iPod. I put the iPod in the dock, you know, maybe play some 90s R&B, some Shy or Silk or 112 or one of the other bands, R&B bands that had numbers, and I just let it go. And after that, I just smoke a cigar, get a sifter out, get some nice cognac, put my bathrobe on, sit by the fire for about 20 minutes and just think about how good that felt. I don't know, man. Anyway, another thing that kind of leads into is the subject of masturbating in general. And I know that you're thinking like, oh, you're just talking about masturbating because it's whatever. It's raunchy and people think it's funny and shit like that. But no, there's actually something recently that's been on my mind that has to do with masturbating, that it actually goes a little bit deeper than that. And I've just been thinking recently, like, there's no more honest time in a man's life than when he's masturbating. Like, that's when you're the most honest with your own psyche. Like there's nobody there, there's nobody watching, there's nobody there to judge you. You're just doing what you like instinctually. Like, you learn about yourself. Like, you don't sit down and say like, I love watching double penetration, I love Asians, I love fucking teens. Like, you don't necessarily sit there and think like of what you like. You just fucking find out through like years of accidental research. You just look at your track record, and that's what you're into. You know, like, I just feel like that's like the most brutally honest that a person is with himself, to the point where you don't tell people about it. Nobody says, I mean, maybe the rare person does. You don't like walk around and be like, dude, guess what I just jerked off to? Like, nobody says that to you, because that's something for yourself. You know, that's something that you keep to yourself. And, you know, sometimes it can be good or bad. Luckily for me, like, my sexual urges are pretty relatively tame. But even for myself, there's times where after I nut that I'll look at the screen or just think about what I was just thinking about, and I actually get a little bit disgusted. You know, I think like, wow, I was looking at that. That's what brought me to a climax just now. And it just makes you think about other things. It makes you think like, what about people who are, because I don't get into the shit people get into. There's porn where people shit on each other, people piss on each other, animals and all this shit. And like, there's people out there that are watching that. There's people that are out there watching that stuff for pleasure. And it just makes you think to yourself, like, some of those people that have those urges, they satisfy them while they're masturbating with themselves, and they probably live a whole life of like self-disgustedness. I don't even know if that's the right way to say that, but like they probably just hate themselves, and that's because that's who they are. You know what I'm saying? They might not do that stuff in real life, but like when they're by themselves in closed doors, you know, you could go real deep into that. Just people who do real, like, you know, there's the fucking, what is it, snuff films where like the girl dies. There's like, you know, stuff with kids, stuff with animals, like, just, I don't know, for all the child molesters out there, how many people are kind of like child molesters in their mind, but they did, I mean, fuck, they're fucked up anyway, just because they're creating the market for that kind of porn, which is fucked up enough in itself. And it probably feel, I'm not trying to defend child molesters right now. I'm just saying, forget child molesters. Let's talk about just gay people, especially gay people 100 years ago that couldn't be gay. You know what I'm saying? Like, your whole life is a fucking lie. And when you're by yourself and you're thinking your thoughts is really the only time when you're being honest with yourself. If you can't, nowadays it's not as bad, and well, not everywhere. Some people you could never do that shit, but like, I don't know. I just think that shit is interesting, man. Like, that's when you're the most honest with yourself. And I don't really have any more to add to that, but if you want to fucking doubt me, if you want to argue, I would say, well, let's think about actual sex. How honest are you in actual sex? Because you got this other person, and the stuff that you want to do with this other person, you got to think of ways to either to bring it up. You got to think of, you know, if you got some weird shit that you're into, if you're into fucking feet, or if you're into her shitting on you or whatever, like, how are you going to bring that up, you know? So you're not as honest when you're having sex, because you still have to deal with your own insecurities rather, and you have to just basically deal with the way that girl conceives you, her conception of you. And when I say her conception of you, I don't mean her having sex with somebody else and you becoming her son immediately in her womb when his sperm fertilizes her egg. I mean the way she conceives you. If you're confused about the way I use the word conception right there. This is an edit. I meant perception right there. But yeah, I don't know where else I'm going with that. But hopefully that made some kind of sense. And hopefully you don't think that I'm a fucking child molester, because you probably do. Anyway, I actually have a page here. Let's get to what I was talking about earlier. I was saying I was going to have formats. Let's start doing that. I kind of rambled on. I talked about my career in the music industry. I still think that career is going to be good. I got a lot of shit going on. I got my fucking album coming out in a couple months. Finishing up some songs for that I'm really excited about. But talked about how pissing is just as good as an orgasm, if not better. And I talked about how a man is the most honest when they're masturbating. And I talked about, I think at one point, how my mom believes in my music career. I hope she doesn't listen to my podcast, because that would be kind of sad. But I'm just trying to be honest with y'all, man. I put it all out there. I put it on the line. You know what I mean? I put myself out there. I don't give a fuck, man. I really don't give a fuck. And I feel like the older that you get, the less you give a fuck. You know, it's like people always say, like, when you're in high school and shit, like, your main goal in life is to, like, quote unquote be cool. And the more you're away from that and the more you're in the real world, you realize how stupid that shit is. And you realize that the best way to go about it is just to be real. Just to fucking, you know, do it, talk about what you think about. Not in all situations. You know, you got to have a filter for yourself, and you got to understand the way the world works. But in a situation like this, I don't have to have a regular job. You know, I don't, like, if I want to go fucking do something crazy, I don't have to worry about my employer finding out about it. This is just, you know, for y'all. So what else did I have? What was I going to do? Oh yeah, True Hollywood Stories. Wax True Hollywood Stories. I have a couple of them. Which one should I say? Because if I do this every week, I don't want to run out of them. That is something that could go Wax Weekly on y'all, because if I do the best ones I have, then eventually I would run out of them unless I do a bunch of crazy, weird Hollywood story shit, while this is going on. Anyway, let's do this one. I'm going to tell you about the time I met Chris Brown. So, me and Brian Washington and my homie King David were in the studio. We're at the place called The Record Plant, which is like a legendary studio in LA. A lot of people work out of there. will.i.am, that's his main studio. Chris Brown's always in there. I mean, I think it's like legendary, and like I think like fucking Motley Crue and shit record there. Hold on one second. But so we're in there mixing a song. It's 4 a.m. and we're in Studio C. So we're in the back. I think it's C or 3 or whatever it is. The fucking back on the right. So we're coming out of there at 4 a.m. and the first studio, which is on the way out, Chris Brown is in there. So my manager, I guess, has some kind of relationship with Chris Brown. So he's like, yo, let's go stop in there. So we did. We went in there, and there was 3 people in there. It was Chris Brown, this other dude that was with Chris Brown that was like his backup dancer, because they were in there. They had a video shoot the next day, and they were practicing their dance moves. And then there was the engineer. So my manager gives Chris Brown a dap, says, what's up? He introduces me. I'm like, what's up, man? Wax, blah, blah, blah. I guarantee you Chris Brown fucking does not remember this shit. Not because he had a fucking bottle of white wine in his hand that he was drinking out of the whole time. By the way, he didn't seem that fucked up. He just happened to be drinking wine out of a bottle. But people like that, they meet a shitload of people. You know, for somebody like me, if I meet, think about Barack Obama or any president. When he meets somebody, that person's never going to forget that moment. He fucking has that moment 1,000 times a day and forgets every single fucking one of them. So that's my point. Not that you're going to fucking get out your fucking cell phone and call Chris Brown and ask him if he remembers this night. But feel free to if you do have his number. But anyway, get in there. Brian gives him a dap. And he's all excited, man. He's working on this song. He's like, yo, hold on. And he points to the engineer. He's like, play the record. He fucking hits play. Song starts. Fucking Chris Brown's got the bottle in his hands, kind of using the white wine bottle as a microphone. Song plays all the way through. This motherfucker is singing every single word, doing all the runs, like fucking falsetto, all the shit, doing spins. He's jumping up and down. He's fucking doing kicks. He's doing fucking all kinds of dance moves, going like as if he was doing a fucking show. And I was just like, God damn, this dude got a lot of energy for 4 a.m. So the song ends, and me and Brian are like, all right, cool, man. Well, good to see. He's like, no, hold on. And he points to the engineer. He's like, hold on, you play that other record. He says the name of the song. It's like, play that other record. Play that. Fucking engineer pulls up the session. Same fucking thing. Fucking song starts playing. And I think the second one of these songs was yeah. Like I remember hearing that song. I remember like, damn, that sounds like a fucking big ass hit or whatever. And I guess that song, that song wasn't out yet, but doesn't matter what song it was. He got the fucking bottle. He's fucking spinning. He's fucking dancing. He's singing the runs. He's fucking jumping. He's getting up on the fucking the little thing, and he's just fucking performing. So that song ends. Me and Brian are like, cool, man. That's what's up, man. We gonna get, you know what I'm saying? Say, hold on. And he points to the engineer. And he's like, play that other record. And I swear to you, he did this shit for fucking 12 songs in a row. He did a whole fucking album worth of shit where the only people in there were me, my manager, this other backup dancer dude, and the engineer. And we were in there for like an hour. And he fucking went the whole time. So that's my Chris Brown story, and I'm sticking to it. But I don't know, man. Especially after that experience, like people can say what they want about Chris Brown, and I know. I mean, the shit that he did with Rihanna and shit. Obviously, that's fucking terrible. But like, for anybody to say that dude's not talented, they're fucking wrong. Because like in that room, like. I mean, the dude's talent was just like fucking dripping off of him. That dude was just like it's no surprise that he was a superstar when he was a kid. Cause like that dude is just the fucking most talented dude. Like it's just being in that room. It's hard to explain, but it was pretty crazy. I was like, God damn, this dude is a fucking beast. Yeah. And he just has so much energy, which, at that time was kind of not too long after the Rihanna thing. So it kind of had me thinking like, yeah, damn, if you got that much energy, like if that energy went the wrong way, like that could go way to fuck over the line the wrong way. And I guess maybe it did that one time. And I think he's had other incidents and shit too, but you know, I'm not here to talk shit. But just saying, man, that I could see how that could go the wrong way. Just like a fucking, I guess that to do that to people that you barely know, 5 people in the room, to just get down like that, you know, that's a lot of energy. The kind of energy that I don't have. Like I was just watching them, I was like, God damn, my back hurts. But all right, that's my true Hollywood story this week. Maybe next week I'll talk about, I got a couple stories. I got a fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger story, I got a Dave Chappelle story, I got a J. Cole story. I got all kind of stories. But what's on the docket here? This docket says call someone and fuck with them. So I wanted to call my brother, but that might be kind of rude because he's got a family and a kid and a day job, and it's fucking, I'm recording this at like 1:30. Who can I call? Who's in my recent call? I'll call EOM. So let me think of how would I do this? Should this be like a prank call, or should I just fucking, let's see. Hopefully this even. Hopefully he answers. Oh, this is gonna suck. He's not gonna answer.
You have reached the Brit.
I'm not gonna let it get to the point where it says his phone number. God damn it. Well, that was a fucking failure. How did I not put that together that the people that I call might not answer? And I don't know that many other people that that listen to this podcast would know that I can fuck with. Well, that was kind of a failure. I'm not, like I've said earlier in the podcast, I'm the kind of person that admits when I fail. I admit that I make mistakes. I make a lot of mistakes. I've made so many fucking mistakes in my life, it's ridiculous. But all right, whatever. Let's just think about some shit that's going on. You know what I did find out today? I found out that a friend, there's a Broadway musical called The Book of Mormon, which is just now coming to L.A., and I've heard that this shit is amazing. It's from the dudes who created South Park, Trey Parker and Matt Stone. It might be Trey Stone and Matt Parker. I can't remember. It's Trey and Matt. And supposedly this shit is hilarious. Supposedly it's like side-splitting funny, like amazing music. And I know some of you guys are thinking, like, Broadway musical? What are you, gay? Well, excuse me for being more cultured than you. Sorry about that. You can go fucking listen to your fucking some uncultured music. I don't know. You can go fucking watch Jersey Shore elsewhere while I fucking enjoy a Broadway musical, dick. So I'm getting tickets. My friends Alice, Doris, and my friend Jay, we're gonna go as a foursome, and maybe we should play golf beforehand while we're using the word foursome, but we're going to go to see the Book of Mormon in a couple weeks, and I'm super excited about that. Not that any of you guys give a fuck. Speaking of my personal life, what else is going on in my personal life? Like I said in the last podcast, I'm moving to Venice, and I'm actually moving in like 2 days. I'm moving this week, like Wednesday and Thursday, because I got shit going on in the weekend. And the problem with that is that it's going to be hard to get people to help me to move. I mean, I don't even like asking people, you know, to help me move. Like when you're like 19, you get out your parents' house and you ask someone to help you move. That means like you guys are going to carry fucking one mattress and some fucking lava lamps. A mattress and some lava lamps, and maybe like a bong. But like I've gotten to the point where over the last couple of years I've kind of collected a lot of shit, and it's kind of a process for me to move. Like just looking around this, even just my studio I'm gonna move myself. I ain't trusting like nobody to do this shit. But my house, I got a couple couches, I got a TV, I got a bunch of fucking I have so much just like random shit. I have boxes upon boxes I'm gonna have to pack up of random shit. And some of this stuff, like my friends work during the week. Not to mention I don't really feel comfortable asking them. People's time is valuable, you know? So I might actually break down and do something that I've never done in my life, and it makes me feel like a big pussy. You know, I know a lot of you guys saw the video I put out the other week where I was saying I ain't a real man work, talking about people that actually put in hard labor and do some shit. But I might actually call a moving company this time around. I was considering going to like the Home Depot parking lot or the U-Haul parking lot and just getting some dudes that are hanging out there to come help me. But even I was just thinking, like, from a monetary standpoint, I still have to rent the truck, you know? That stuff that you got to pay for the mileage and the gas and all that stuff. And it's kind of like the way that I'm going to have to do this move, it's kind of like, you know, it'll take a little while. So I think I might break down and pay. I'm figuring it's going to be an extra, if considering I still have to get the U-Haul truck and shit anyway, I'm figuring it's going to be like an extra $100 just to hire like a 2 guys in a truck type of moving company and just have them move all my shit. So if you want to hit me up at beatsforwax@gmail.com and call me a pussy and call me a bitch for doing that, let me know. Or if you want to be like, you know what? You should be happy about that. You're providing other people with work. You know, I actually, for a very brief period of time when I lived in San Diego, this was I only did this like for like a month and a half because then I got another job doing construction. But when I first moved there, I did this, I was a mover for a little while. And it actually felt great at the end of the, well, it didn't feel good on your fucking back and knees and shit like that. But it felt great at the end of the day. It was like a really good workout, lifting shit all day. But it was kind of stressful. You know, sometimes you'd be like, you'd be at like a nice place, and me and the dude that I worked with, you know, we'd be moving a table, and all of a sudden, you know, you don't hold it right and you fucking scratch something, you know, and in certain cases that was a bad look, you know, like people get really mad about it. Like for me, I wouldn't give a shit just as long as they don't, you know, as long as they don't like break a guitar or something like that. But I think I'm going to move that stuff myself. All my studio stuff, I think I just put in my car. I can fit most of that stuff in there. But yeah, I might break down and do that. Sucks. What I wanted to do with, because I have a lot of extra shit, like just I can't even explain to you the kind of shit I have. Just I have closets full of stupid shit. Like for example, like shooting all these videos over the years where I have to buy costumes and shit like that. Like in my closet, I have a fucking full-on bear costume. If you've seen the Dispensary Girl video, it was like $100 cheaper to rent it than it was to buy it. So I was like, fuck it, I'll buy it. Same thing with the mariachi costumes from the from the Rosanna video, if you've seen that. So I own 2 full mariachi costumes. I own a bear costume. I have like mad, like just random costumey clothes that I bought in for other videos. I have like all kinds of just shit like that. I can't even explain to you how much shit. I got like a bunch of like old merch, CDs and t-shirts and stuff. Couches, like old, like random, like office. I can't even explain to you what I have. It's really, you know, it's not even that bad. It's not that much. But point is, I can't move all this shit by myself. Maybe I won't call a mover. Maybe I think I'm gonna do it. I think I'm gonna call a moving company this time. Bite the bullet. Pay the extra $100. Because last time me and E did it, but I think E is working those days, so I don't think he's gonna be able to help me. But yeah. So at this point in the show, I think in future episodes of this podcast, this is the point in the show where I want to read emails from you guys. So like I said, beatsforwax@gmail.com. Send beats if you're a producer. Send questions, send advice, things. Like if you want my advice on something, I'll give it to you. And I'll give it to you in as honest a way as I can. I don't know what else you could email me. You can email me anything. Except don't send me, for all you people that think I'm a fucking sadistic fucking child molester now, don't send me that shit. Don't send me any fucking pictures of that or links to that. I guess I shouldn't have said that because now somebody's going to send me that shit to fuck with me. Just like my friends who send me fucking fucking emails that say, yo, you got to check out this story. And then they always fuck with me and send me I click on the link and it sends me to a website called meatspin.com. Any of you fucking like internet nerds have probably heard of that. It's just like a website where they show this fucking dude and his fucking dick is spinning around. It's like a close-up of this dude's dick spinning around. And it's going, the song's on, you'll spin me right around, baby, right around. And it's just, that's all the website is. And like, as soon as you click on it, you just see that real fast, and it's fucking loud, and like, I don't know. It's the kind of thing that people send, like, people fuck with the people at like cubicle jobs, and if you're like hoping that their boss will see it or whatever. I don't know. But don't send me any shit like that. Yeah, that's pretty much it, man. I think that's all I got for you guys this week. Send me some emails. Hit me up on Twitter. My Twitter's Big Wax. My Instagram is Big Wax. My website is wax.com, waxdotcom.com. I think we might be giving that website a facelift in the pretty near future. An HTML facelift. Being JavaScript. Me. Boring. What else? What other social media sites can you interact with me on? Facebook.com/wax.com, waxdotcom. Yeah, man. That's about it. So be safe out there. Peace.